Christians, we must not listen to worldly advice. It's no secret that we are surrounded by ungodly counsel. Writers, self proclaimed experts, television hosts, worldly family and friends, and a host of others, many throughout society, beckon us to live contrary to God's word. If we will be blessed, we must first know what God says in his word, the Holy Bible. We must then reject all advice that disagree with God's word, and we must trust him enough to choose his counsel over the counsel of others. See, we as Christians must pledge that we will never depart from the path of obedience to God's righteous commands. We all face daily temptations to sin, all right? The desires of our sinful nature stir us to disobey God's holy commands, and the world represents repeated opportunities to indulge our flesh. If we will be blessed, we must adhere to God's word. We must refuse to stray from the path of obedience, refuse to even stand, much less walk in the sinful way. As Christians, we must pledge that we will guard ourselves against the tireless efforts of scorners to influence us to question God's word. In many countries, the teaching of God's word vanished decades and even centuries ago. Within every nation, believers are pressured to accept immorality, dishonesty, injustice, and sinful living. Mockers of God's word beckon believers to be tolerant of sin. However, if we as believers want God's blessings, we must stand strong on the truths of God's word. We must stand for what is right, even when we can no longer successfully overcome evil influences. We forfeit God's blessings when we succumb to the pressure of those who mock God's holy commands. The once and for all decision to present ourselves fully to Christ enables us to know what to do in the daily decisions that we face. Our choices are clarified in the light of our total surrender to God. Our commitment to him will guide us through every step of life and will help us to obey him and his will. This is the key to the blessed life, a life that results in God's joyous favor.